looking at the economic climate right now, especially in the US, how easily is it to adopt digital marketing in their own business?
It's very, very, very easy. And what COVID has caused is a shift to digital on things that you've always needed to do. You've always needed to connect with your customers and build word of mouth and do such a good job, have such good services.
So welcome to another episode, Geek Pulse Show, where we bring the heavy hitters in entrepreneurship, someone that we want to connect and learn from. Today, I'm very excited and passionate about a topic which is close and dear to us, which is marketing. And our special guest is Dennis Yu, CEO of Blitz Matrix, the digital marketing company. He's also a chief technical officer for Cairo Revenue, a former Yahoo employee who optimized ads and analytics across the search and social media platform. And, he's helping aspiring digital marketers and entrepreneurs. Internationally, he has lectured Facebook marketing in 17 countries, spanning over 5 continents. And he was featured on Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, CNN, CBS, Evening News, and especially authored the book Facebook Nation. So Dennis, thank you for being on the show.
Pleasure, Mr. Wayne.
Yeah. So Dennis, tell us a bit, how did you get started? What was the journey like?
I'm just a math guy, and I got somehow involved in building websites because, code and math are kind of the same thing. And 30 years later, there's all these social networks, and there's public speaking, and there's video plus social networks. And I just find it's a great place to be able to collect data and help other people and reach people and train them. So we've been able to help a lot of big businesses that you maybe have heard of, and also train up lots of entrepreneurs. And we find it's the same principles that apply, just like the rules for gravity or the rules for, physics. I find they apply to entrepreneurship and they apply to marketing, but most people aren't aware. So we just want to help people understand and help people grow their business and understand that, with proper sales and marketing, anyone can win.
Right. I mean, how's the current, looking at the economic, climate right now, especially in the US, especially with the local businesses, maybe across the world also. I mean, is there something that local businesses can actually do it themselves, or how easily is it to adopt, digital marketing in their own business?
It's very, very, very easy. And what COVID has caused is a shift to digital on things that you've always needed to do. You've always needed to connect with your customers and build word of mouth and do such a good job, have such good services and products that people talk about you. And you need to be there, whether it's on YouTube or a social media channel or ranking in SEO or Google My Business. But COVID, because people weren't able to meet physically as easily, forced us to invest in something in digital that we've always had to do. And we find that there are a lot of tools, there's a lot of software, there's a lot of complexity that keeps popping up. But even though some of these tools are cool, we find that they are no substitute for the fundamentals, which are very easy, which is a 1-minute video on your cell phone and $1 a day to promote that by paying Google, by paying Facebook to get your message out there. And I can show you right now on my phone thousands of examples, even just from the last few days or even today, of where we're practicing this. We're practicing what we preach to demonstrate to businesses this is how to do it. And we don't see other people doing it, but this is something we've tested for many years, done it thousands of times, very easy to do. You follow the template on how to tell a story in a 1-minute video in different ways, you will get more clients.
Yeah, I love it was you call it the 3x3 grid, the why, the how, and what, and right.
Yep. That's right.
Dennis, before I go to that portion, I just want to kind of go back into like, how does someone actually get started? Just imagine, because we have this audience about 40,000 people, and they are looking for ways and avenues to get their message out there, or take a certain passion, convert that into a digital format, create a landing page and get the message out there. How does someone get started? Maybe I know you.
Very easy. Yeah. To start with what you're trying to sell. How are you making money? Are you a digital marketing consultant? Are you a small business owner? Maybe you sell real estate, you cut people's hair, you fix someone's teeth. Start with the thing you sell. That's the what. Make a 1-minute video around that. Post that on your Facebook. on your website. For your website, you should use WordPress. If you're a local service business where you're a dentist or a restaurant or florist or somebody who people see locally, then you need to optimize your Google My Business.
Right.
And then everything else on top of that, SEO or Google ads or Facebook ads or email marketing, that's all secondary, right? You've got to first start with what it is you sell, interview your customers. If you have an existing business, you certainly have some happy customers. Interview them just like you're doing here, Wayne. Yep. Make them look good. And your customers will do the work for you. It's really very easy. People will often get analysis paralysis because there's so many things that they could be doing. They end up doing nothing. But if you want to do something, start with making 1-minute videos. Even if you are afraid of how your hair looks, even if you don't like how you sound, even if it's not the right time and you're tired and you have bags under your eyes, just practice making 1-minute videos. I find from the many, many people that we have coached that that's the number one predictor of success is the amount of content people create. Most people create no content. They're not even in the game. Doesn't matter how much tools you have, how much money you have, how much experience you have. You can't make these little videos. It's going to be very difficult to win increasingly because of what's going on with all the social networks and the younger population, wanting video. It doesn't have to be singing and dancing. Right. Simple video so people can see who you are as a human. The people buy from you as a human. So make that visible.
Yeah, Dennis, I know that there's a difference between Google being a search intent as well as a social media platform, which is to kind of get the attention, a disruption. Yeah. Does this 3x3, creating that 1-minute video have a difference in terms of how the algorithms work with it?
Yeah. 3x3 is just a way of standardizing, building relationships. So we think about a funnel where, you meet a girl and you know her name, then you date her, and then you get married, right? You have relationship depth, top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. And that's the same thing with the 3x3, where we have why, how, and what. And the why video is what you stand for. Something about a story, about something that was meaningful, an event that happened, a moment in time that caused you to reflect on how much you appreciate your mother, or how you love your patients, or why you believe everyone deserves an opportunity, or why you like your dog, right? Something that reflects emotion and story. And the how is where you're sharing expertise. What is it that you know about? Certainly it could be related to what you do for a profession. There's certain tools that you use. There's certain techniques that you have. You went to school, you're explaining this, right? Everyone has some kind of knowledge, and the knowledge will then naturally lead to the what, which is what you have to sell. That's when you're saying, here's what I have to sell. Call my phone number, right? Come into my shop, buy from me. You're directly selling. You're inviting them to contact you. I'm Mark Wagner, co-founder of Gantry, and I'd love to help you optimize your Kubernetes infrastructure, right? It's a direct sell. So why, how, and what? Learn how to tell those stories in those 3 phases. Learn how to interview other people to collect those stories from them so your customers and employees and partners do that work for you. And then it has nothing to do with Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Snapchat or websites or SEO or anything like that. It's merely being able to tell your story, to be able to reveal the connection that you have with other people, which builds trust. And all you guys that are serious entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, know that we're actually all in the same business, which is the business of trust. You build trust because of your relationships, because of your consistency, because they see who you are, because of your messaging, because of the authority and the knowledge that you have. But if you look at any of your competitors, you'll see that most of them aren't even doing this. Exactly. So if you do it, you already have a huge advantage over them.
Dennis, for the 3x3, I have this burning question. So I know you actually coined the strategy on $1 a day, right? So do you kind of pay so you have this why, what, and how? Do you do $1 a day for a specific target audience, or is just
we like to start on Facebook, and we start with $1 a day against any one of the 3 why, 3 how, and 3 what. That's 9 videos times $7. You're spending $63. So depending on whatever currency you're spending it in, it's not very much money. We like to start with the videos at the bottom, which are the what, because those are the ones that are most likely to drive sales. And as you drive more sales, especially targeting like remarketing audiences, like people who've been to your website in the last 30 days, people who've watched any one of your videos, people who are in your email list, people you have their phone number. Those are all called custom audiences. You start at the bottom with the what, because you're trying to extract more sales out of people who already know you, people who've already bought from you. Those are the people who are most likely to buy again, is people who've already bought from you. Then you move one level up into the why. Into the how. You're sharing knowledge, right? You build remarketing audiences there. So the more people see who you are, they see your knowledge, they see who you're with, they see that you have expertise, then the how leads into the what, right? And then you move all the way up to the top, which is the why. Stories about meaning, about your favorite book, about why you like this particular restaurant, about something that reflects who you are. And so the why then funnels into the how, which then funnels into the what. But you start as a marketer or entrepreneur from the bottom with what, right? Because that's what drives the sales. You start from the bottom and you move your way up, even though the journey of the customer goes top to the bottom.
Right.
But us as marketers, entrepreneurs, we go bottom up. And that's something most people get wrong.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a very nice perspective that you have, because the journey for both are different, but we meet, kind of meet halfway. Then it's just a quick check. So when you talk about remarketing, maybe I'm just going to kind of go a bit deeper into it. We are talking about seeding the audience, audience that actually view your, maybe 75% or 50% of your videos. Do you seed a particular video, or do you seed mostly the visits of the website in the last 30 days? What is the best, based on your tests, have you done, which is working right now?
You do use the audience that's been working best and drives the most sales for you. So it really depends, right? If your SEO traffic's working really well, then certainly your website remarketing audience is going to perform better. Maybe your website doesn't get much traffic, but you have a big email list, then that's the one you focus on. Maybe you don't have either of those two and you're trying to build an audience. Then your native audience is like the people who watch the video for more than 15 seconds, which on Facebook's called a through play. Maybe that's the one you start with. But there is no one correct answer, because the whole point is to amplify what's already working well. If you're a new business, you probably need to get started on Facebook and then on Google with the basic keywords you want to rank on.
Right. Your philosophy then is learn, do, and teach. Reminded me of Jim Rohn, study, practice, and teach. Was there a similarity? How did this philosophy, is something that you live by and incorporate that into your business?
This is something I learned from one of my mentors, who is the CEO of American Airlines. And he taught me that hypocrisy is when you try to teach something that you haven't done yourself, that you don't know what you're talking about. And there's also a lot of people who believe that they should just jump straight into action. Oh, why spend all this time learning? I'm an action person. And of course they fail, and it takes a lot longer. And one of the phrases that we learned, especially from the military, I think the Navy SEALs say that slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Wow.
When you know what you're doing, you don't have to keep repeating yourself and redoing it, making mistakes, right? Especially with surgery. You don't want to do surgery quickly because sometimes there's no control Z. There's no redo, undo. So the idea of learn, do, teach is learning is from someone who's done the thing before, who's hopefully documented it. You become an apprentice as you're doing it. It's like a good internship, which is missing in, worldwide, not just in America. And then teaching, which is paying it forward. If you learn how to do something, then ethically you should teach other people. But also it's good business practice that if you know how to do something and you want to scale up your business, you don't want to keep doing it yourself. You want to then delegate it to other people. You want to hire some VAs. Maybe there's some other friends that are learning how to do this. You want to do things that are higher and higher value in terms of a use of your time. So everything you've learned how to do, you want to figure out how to quickly get that off your plate so you don't have to keep doing it.
Right. Dennis, the journey of, when someone is starting out, a solopreneur, there's this thing that you spoke about called the lighthouse. Can you elaborate a bit more of really identifying what is the lighthouse? Because I find a lot of the questions that came, prior to this video was that people are trying to find that lighthouse.
Yeah, Wayne, that's a good question. A lighthouse is something most people don't understand, is when you get your customers to do the work for you. So for example, we have Dr. Glenn Vo. He's a dentist, and we serve a lot of doctors. But rather than me say, hey, we can help you generate more patients. We have this whole process. We've done this for a long time. We're very good. But what is more powerful? Dr. Vo, who's a successful dentist, telling his friends who are dentists, yes, we've grown our business because we use dentists' methodologies and they work very, very well. Or me saying, I am not a dentist. I am not a doctor, right? It's so people want to hear from their own type. So you use your customers, you interview your customers, you do a good job for your customers, you document how it's been done, and they do the work for you. A lot of people call it word of mouth. They just assume if you do a good job, your customers are going to talk about you, and they will. And they will tell other friends about them, and it does generate referral business. But if you actually intentionally structure it, not as testimonials, but you interview them on the expertise, sharing their expertise, sharing their journey, instead of just trying to get them to say good words about you,
Right.
You're going to find that a lighthouse is the most effective, most intelligent marketing strategy you could ever implement in any kind of business. Because the lighthouse is someone who is not just any doctor, not just any customer, but someone who is well respected. So we had the Golden State Warriors as a client, which then attract other people in pro sports. We had them as a client for 5 years, which then, it's not some random little league team, but it's one of the best known teams in pro sports. And when we've openly documented how we're doing the work and we interview them and they speak on stage and they tell our friends at Google and Facebook and they speak at the MBA marketing conference, that creates a lot of value for us. But that does require that you do a really good job. It's also very risky because if you have a lighthouse level, which is the one of the top people in your industry, so whatever kind of customer you want, not 50 different kinds of customers, but that one kind of customer, you take the most well-known and you serve them and you do a really good job, that's going to get you a lot more customers because everyone respects who's the leader in the industry. And when you serve the leader in the industry and the leader in the industry says good things about you, that's fantastic. But if you don't know what you're doing, that could be very risky. Because if you fail, that's a very public failure and it can ruin your reputation permanently. So the lighthouse strategy is a multiplier, but it can multiply plus, but it can also multiply massive loss. The best way to do it if you're not sure is partner with somebody to reduce the amount of risk so you can make sure you succeed. And that's where the mentorship model of Learn, Do, Teach comes in, because you can find someone who has done it before, partner with them, and you can together benefit in the success and leverage a lighthouse. When you have a lighthouse in a category, they're going to generate way more business than you ever would be able to handle. You would never need salespeople again. It's incredibly powerful to get other people to partner with you on a lighthouse.
Right. And then maybe can you share a bit to the audience, what's the difference between marketing and sales in your definition? I mean, you have, how does that, because most of them don't like selling, but I know that if you do your marketing well, engineer the whole funnel process, typically it will do the sales for you.
A lot of people confuse marketing and sales, but generally the definition is marketing is understanding price, product, promotion, strategy. It's about getting those initial leads, and sales is about converting. Sales is when you have that relationship, getting on the phone. Usually sales is done in a B2B concept, but can be B2C. Marketing can drive people to a store, and then you talk to a sales rep, you talk to a sales agent, and the salesperson is able to then build that relationship. We find that it's not that marketing or sales is more important than either one. They both work together. But if you have strong word of mouth, if you have strong authority, then the person who's the salesperson isn't really in sales anymore because the customer is already ready to buy. There's already a lot of trust. Other colleagues in their industry, because there's a lighthouse that's promoting you, is there. There's very little to actually do in marketing because marketing translates into education. And there's very little to do in sales because sales translates into relationship building.
It's a very good point. How does one build authority in the marketplace?
You build authority by having a lighthouse. You build authority by knowing what you're doing, by speaking on stage, by being quoted in the industry journals, by publishing what you know, by having great connections of other people, by elevating your customers, by doing good things that you then promote on social media in a non-douchebag kind of way. Building authority is something that all of us understand what it means inherently, but the actual doing of it is much, much harder to do.
Right. Is there a correlation between building authority and the spoke? You call it the part of the personal branding that I attended the class on Fiverr. And I really love the way you did the topic wheel. Is there a correlation between having that topics out, meeting the people like what I'm doing with you and building authority from there?
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Okay.
People buy from people. And look, people will even buy from me when I'm in a sports car driving around in Phoenix. A lot of people think that authority has to be because you wear a nice suit.
Right.
Authority has to be, sales has to be because of, you have a Lamborghini. When you wear a nice sports car here, going 80 miles per hour, you can see. But that's not what matters. What
Right.
matters is that people trust you. People know you by who you're with, not by what you say about yourself. So personal branding is what other people say about you. Once you understand, it's not what you say about yourself. It's not how you dress. It's not some sort of flair. Like some people say, oh, I should wear an orange hat. I wear an orange hat. That's my personal brand. I need a new logo. I need a new website. No, personal branding is a reflection of your reputation because it's what other people, your customers, your employees, your partners, the community has to say about you. So Wayne, you studied our Fiverr course.
Yep.
You already know about personal branding, not because the Fiverr course is one of the top personal branding courses out there, but we hadn't even met. But you already know so much because you took the course. You already know about relationships. You know about the topic wheel, which is how you structure the why, how, and what of your videos and relationships. You already know about the 1 minute video, right?
Yes.
So your personal brand does the work for you. So all the stuff with a lighthouse, a strong personal brand gets you lighthouses. A strong personal brand brings more inbound. A strong personal brand gives you clients that reach out to you. They invite you to podcasts. The media will ask you questions. And you don't have to be famous to have a strong personal brand.
Right.
Because it just depends on what category you want to play in. So if you want to play in funeral homes, my buddy Welton Hong is the top digital marketing agency in funeral homes. Now, does anyone know him outside of funeral homes? No. But if you own a funeral home, you probably see his face everywhere. And he has a lot of trust because he's a dominant player in the industry. People know who he is, right?
Right. And you also spoke about tell me a bit about lead generation, Dennis. I know that's one of the key issues that people have. The website doesn't generate leads. What is the best that someone can, kind of reach out, build either the email or get that conversation going with the customer in terms of lead generation?
Look, lead generation is all about traffic. If you don't generate traffic, it doesn't matter. Some people, like you said, they like email. They like social media. They like to go knock on doors. Doesn't matter. It's whatever it is that gets you in front of people so you can sell.
That is, in my experience, there's only three things. There's paid advertising, there's SEO, and there's social media. Is there any other things that you, apart from these three, that can generate traffic? Or I've covered, just going really broad just to give a kind of context.
There's many more. So we think of the website and SEO as one world. We think of social media as another world where it's things that we don't own, but it's rented property. And the third world is the messaging. So messaging is through text messaging, or it's through sending email, or it's through direct mail. But the world of search and social and messaging are the three that actually intersect. And you do need to have all three of them.
So there you have it. Dennis Yu, and CEO of Blitz Matrix. If you have any further questions, let us know in the comment section below, and I will be placing a link for you to get in touch with Dennis directly and his team if you want to gain the necessary skills as well as to learn how to incorporate digital marketing in your business today. So with that, wish you all the best and see you soon. Take care.